And hello and welcome to episode 116 of On the Bench, the podcast for scale modelers, by scale modelers, all about scale models. And this episode is being brought to you through the generous and magnificent support of all of our Patreon supporters. If you too would like to help the show, you can do so by going to www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge any amount from $1 per month upwards. All contributions are greatly appreciated as they help us with our running and production costs. Established in 2016, the Scale Modeler Supply has developed a comprehensive range of premium acrylic lacquer paints designed specifically with the scale modeler in mind. Certified Australian made, SMS paints are tough and durable with a fast drying time that have been designed to use straight from the bottle, taking all the guesswork out of airbrushing. Simply shake and spray. The ever-growing range of SMS paints will suit all types of model builders, be it military, aircraft, cars, train, science fiction or gunpla. SMS premium acrylic lacquer paints will have a colour to suit you. SMS products are available through a trusted network of stores across Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, the US, and are also now available for the first time in the UK through From Model Centre. Check the SMS website at www.scalemodeler.com.au to find your closest stockist. These paints are on my bench and I use them all the time, so I know that you will not be disappointed. And hello and welcome to the show. And in the studio, I've got Ian.
G'day Dave, g'day Julian, g'day Robert, g'day listeners.
Julian?
Yeah, good morning.
And we have a special guest in today. We have Robert.
Hello everyone. Don't know how special I am. I think I was second choice today, but okay.
Your emergency substitute.
Yes, I am, yeah.
Emergency substitute.
Yeah, I took off the substitute jacket and I'm heading out on the field.
Yeah, so what's meant by that, we're actually supposed to have Simon Holdsworth on. We're going to talk about black and painting black, but I got my dates mixed up, so Simon's held over for the next show and we have the substitute in. And today we're going to be having a chat about modelling in 2035.
The future.
Where we
Welcome to the world of tomorrow.
Yeah.
You need a sound effect, a special future sound effect.
Oh God, I'm surrounded by idiots. How we all been? Let's start with you, Ian. What have you been up to the last fortnight?
Working. And sleeping.
Nothing else?
Nothing else.
No kit purchases? Nothing exciting?
I bought a on the spur kit purchase on Thursday. I bought the Dustwork Kugelpanzer.
Kugelpanzer, what's that?
It's a little ball, a one-man ball with a little wheel at the back, and you get two kits in the one box.
Is that like there's a Russian one of them, isn't there?
Yeah, it looks totally different to what you're thinking. You're thinking of like the round ball with a single tank tread in the middle and the little gun ports. No, this is like two tank tracks on like a 35-degree angle, side by side, with in a little ball configuration. It's at I think it's at Treblinka Museum in Russia. They found it in Japan, and they found it in Manchuria.
So they actually built one?
Yeah, it's made by Krupp. There is no information anywhere about this thing, except that the Russians claim they found it in Manchuria, and it was originally made by Krupp, and the latest theory is it was given over to Japan for kamikaze missions.
How'd they get it to Japan?
Probably it's small enough, they probably stuck it in a Type 7 U-boat and sailed it under the ocean. Like they did with the Tiger tank and all sorts of other things. They just broke them down. And
they couldn't have put a Tiger tank in a Type 7? Not
in the Type 7. They would have put all the components and so forth. They would have had to stick the shell probably on a ship.
Yeah.
The Germans didn't have, unless they used one of the big massive Japanese submarines. Then you might have a chance of fitting.
Still wouldn't have fitted.
Strap it to the top of the deck.
Yeah, they were rusted by the time I got there.
The Japanese did have a Tiger tank.
Yeah, okay.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Never got over there. They tested it over in Europe. That's right, yeah.
They bought one.
Yeah, but they never got to have it back home. They had a Stuka back home and a Messerschmitt and a Focke-Wulf.
Right.
And 109s?
Yeah, Messerschmitt.
Well, I'm surprised it actually got through because the American anti-submarine warfare, submarine warfare, was the most devastating of the war. I mean, they completely just cut Japan off and killed it almost.
Yep.
I think most of them got sunk later, but a few of them got through earlier.
Yeah, true. Very true.
It's a big ocean.
Yeah, had to go through the Indian Ocean mostly, so that was
But
British mostly.
a lot of people don't realise how effective the US Navy was in actually, it's partially a Japanese fault as well because they didn't believe in convoys. But by and large, it made the American US Navy's submarine war against Japan made Germany's submarine war look like a sideshow. It was that effective.
Yeah.
But anyway, here into the lesson. Let's get one to Julian. Hey, mate, how are you?
Yeah, good.
What you been doing?
So I finished construction on the Hurricane, the FX Hurricane.
Woohoo!
So it's onto painting.
Yeah.
But every time I go to paint, it's pretty cold outside. I'm like, I think I'll stay inside.
I know the feeling.
And you actually christened our
The silhouette cutter.
silhouette cutter. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I had a design I made up a while ago for the Pete, the F1M2.
Yep.
Little biplane, seaplane thing. I still got the codes for that, so I was like, I'll do a test run. I cut on that, and it didn't do. Like I messed up something. I messed up the scaling. Is what I messed up.
Right.
Because I was going straight from Illustrator, and anyway, basically ended up literally boring out like a hole. It just cut like a nice. It looked like someone attacked like just one spot as accurately as they could with a needle. Is what it looked like, and then I was like, no, that's not working right. So I had to do some figuring around in the software until I could get the scaling correct. And then it just cut it out, and that was it. I was like, well, okay, and I'll try it on something else. So then I finished off the design work for the masks that I'm doing for the Hurricane, so I can spray the hard edge camo, and I cut those out as well.
Nice.
Very good.
So it's all up and running. You guys got anything that you need cut? I'll do it.
Sounds great.
I shall be putting in an order.
Right, yeah. And by you guys, I don't mean like the audience. You can buy your own.
No,
right?
everyone. Julian will love to do it for you.
What about you, Robert? What have you been doing?
I have finally finished the Renault R40 French tank that I've been working on for months.
Cool.
Mate, you were building that last time you were on the show.
I know. It's gone on forever, but now it's finally finished, and I just look at it and hate it, and that it's done. But other than that, I've been working on a F8 Crusader, the Hasegawa 48 scale F8 Crusader.
Oh, yeah?
I cut the wings off that because I'm folding the wings.
Yes.
Because I have to. I've either got to put pilot in or fold the wings.
What do you mean?
Well, I went to another club I'm involved with, who's a guy who's right into Vietnam aircraft.
Yep.
And I showed him what I'm going to do, and he said to me, "Oh, are you going to put a pilot in it?" Well, and I said, "No, I never put pilots in models." And they said, "Oh, well, are you going to fold the wings?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Oh, it would either have the wings folded, or it has a pilot sitting in it. It's never just looking like a normal aeroplane. Well, like when it's on the carrier. So wings folded, they just unfold them with the pilot in, and off they shoot them. So I then had to go and search down. I found the last wing fold thing in the world from Hobbylink Japan, and I've cut the wings off, and it's all ready to be attached. So
I'm calling crap on that. I reckon I could find a photo of an F8 sitting with its wings down with no pilot in it.
Well, probably on a base, but mine's on a carrier, so it has to be like that.
All right.
Anyway, he convinced me. I didn't want to do it, but then he told me, and then I think, oh no, I've got to do this now. So,
Yep.
So thanks, Adam.
What about you, Dave?
I've been doing absolutely nothing. My mojo's completely shot. I cleaned the desk off, so it's all clean, and went on a huge spending spree last week and spent a ridiculous amount of money. Mm-hmm. One of the other podcasts had Mike Rinaldi on. Mike? Is it Mike Rinaldi?
Yeah.
So after listening to him, I thought, oh, gee, I haven't got any of his stuff. So I went on the website and bought just about everything he's got there. So, $200 later. So that's winging its way across the Pacific somewhere. And then I saw the Cult TV Man had a sale on. So I went and bought a heap of stuff from them.
Yep.
One of which was the 1/350 scale ship from 2001. So that'd be cool.
Oh, the Oh, the big long.
Yeah.
That's got Pan Am written on? Or no, the actual one with HAL on.
Yeah, the actual one with HAL on.
Yeah.
And even bought a lighting kit for it. So I'm thinking I'll play with some lights on the end of it. So
you can't build this, Dave.
Bought something else from him as well. I can't remember what it was.
You'll get locked out of the model room.
Yes. Don't think so, Dave.
Finally found some frill tracks for my T35 that I'm building. So that on its way. Man, they were expensive.
Are you building a T35?
Yeah, it's already built. I'm building one as if it's in the Mayday parade, so it's all shiny.
Which kit did you get?
I'm doing it part of the group build with the Plastic Posse podcast dudes.
Oh, I'm just saying which brand? It'd be Zvezda or Hobby Boss.
No, neither one of those.
Oh, it's like an ancient one, ICM or something.
No. Was it Ryefield or no?
Are we talking T34?
T34/85.
Oh, yeah, T35's different.
T34/35.
Yeah, you said T35.
Did I say T35?
Yes, Dave.
Oh, you idiot.
Yes.
All right.
T34.
So let's do a rewind. Okay, so I'm building the T34/85, and I finally found the tracks for it. Man, they're expensive.
Yes.
Which brand?
The tracks?
Yeah.
Frill.
Oh, right. Okay.
So they're winging away across the ocean as well, I hope. What else did I buy? Oh, I bought 3 men kits, the F106 and 2 F102s, the daggers and the darts, because I reckon they look cool.
Yeah.
And just to make Kentucky Dave happy, they're in 1/72 scale, so he'll be going woohoo as he listens to this.
So you're a real people pleaser. You've got to. You didn't.
Yes, I'm buying stuff just to please other people. No, I'm trying to get something that's going to get my juices flowing again. So I'm spending hundreds of dollars to try to achieve that, and it hasn't worked. And I've got something else coming that I can't remember what it was now, which will be really exciting when it turns up. Because I go, oh, I forgot about that.
Well, they're always the good ones, the surprises.
Yeah.
The surprise package.
I'll think about it, what it was. It'll come to me eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll definitely come to you because you gave them your address and.
Yeah, no, but it'll come to me during the show as to what I got, and I'm sure I'll figure it out.
You're buying too much when you forget what you're buying.
Well, it can be easy to forget what you're buying if it takes a really long time for it to arrive.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, I'm just biding the time to hit the order confirmation button with my B&A order. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and more expensive, and it's nearly hit the $1,000 mark as it sits at the moment. And I'm just like, I've got to hit that.
I remember what else I got. I got an Osmods 1/350 scale
Oberon class
submarine.
Nice.
Yes, yeah,
very cool
in resin, which looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yep.
So I'm not going to paint that or build that until we've had Simon on, so we can talk about painting blacks. But anyway, yeah, that's it for me, really.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I could tell you about my exciting modelling purchase.
Please do.
I bought some cardboard boxes.
What?
I bought some cardboard boxes. It's exciting for me because they're exactly the right size to put 2 rows of kits in. So
you can store them.
Yep. So
Are you having trouble with your storage issues, are you?
no, I'm having too many kits.
Yeah, I've got the same problem.
No.
I've filled every cupboard in my I've filled every cupboard in my house, and now I'm storing them on the floor.
Go to Ian's place is like going to Aladdin's cave.
It's shocking. It's embarrassing.
In fact, it's like the cartoons, or those, how you open the drawer or the wardrobe and all the stuff comes piling out. It's exactly like that.
Yeah, I'm like a hoarder, plastic kit hoarder.
Ian, have you counted your kits?
I do use an Excel spreadsheet, so to find out what kits I got, I just got to have a look at me.
Right.
But it'd be in excess of 200.
Right.
200,
Well in excess.
Sadly, I think I might beat you on that.
You probably do.
Wow.
I went nuts on Russian tanks, and I remember Julian was on a standard that I had 25 of them, now over 60. So
Geez, you're almost on your way to doing a full division.
Well, I've pretty much done every. I bought a kit of pretty much every sort of up till 1943 Russian tank.
Yeah.
And some multiples. So yeah. I've got 4 T-35s. That's why I really sparked up when you said about the T-35 tank.
Why'd you stop at 43? Why don't you go through to 45?
It's just I've got a cut-off point. See, I don't like the T-34-85, so not interested in that.
Fair enough.
But you're missing out on the Joseph Stalin 3 and all those really cool tanks.
For some reason, it just doesn't float my boat.
Oh, the JS3 is awesome looking.
What about Object 279?
Yeah.
Which one's that?
That's that one they built to survive a nuclear war.
Oh,
it's
that's
like
so
that turtle thing with a big long barrel.
That's modern.
Yeah, it's
I don't
post
do
World
all
War
that
II.
stuff.
60s?
Except jets.
60s? Late 60s, early 70s?
Post World
I think.
War II, yeah. That doesn't float his boat, I don't think. No.
It was a great idea, but the big problem they found in Russia was if they had to retreat, it was stuffed because there was not one bridge in Russia that could handle the weight of this tank. It was in excess of 60 tonne.
Easily fixed, Dan. Never retreat.
Yes. No retreat, no surrender.
Oh, well, it's funny because even the Americans went and designed a tank
To combat it.
to survive a nuclear explosion as well, and that had weird looks to it. Looked like a UFO attached to a track.
Yeah.
Or a set of tracks.
Yeah, and with the Object 279, they've got like 2 sets of tracks. So it's actually got 4 tracks underneath this thing.
Yeah.
Which helped spread the load, which made it a lot easier to get through swamps and horrible terrain. But as I said earlier,
Couldn't get
it's
a bridge.
still 60 tonne. There's still fall through bridges.
I'm just thinking about how much the real model tracks would cost for that with 4 runs of tracks.
Oh, yeah. And how long did it take to do look up all those individual track links?
Well, for real, they're already pre-cut. You've just got to drill them.
Yeah. Yes.
By Master Club, you don't have to do that. Just saying.
Yes.
Master Club
do really
so
nice
nice.
tracks, yes.
Well,
Totally
we've got
agree.
a whole heap of mail to go through, so
Cool.
shall we actually look at
Let's
getting into that?
hook into it, as they say.
It's actually, as you say, I've never heard anyone use that expression.
What, the hook in?
Yeah, never heard
Oh.
that expression.
Must be an Ianism.
It's your own thing.
It's an Ianism.
Yeah.
Dave's searching.
Yeah, Greg Lester writes in that he's done a Graf Zeppelin, and
Ooh.
he's wondering if you've finished yours, Ian, because he only discovered the podcast recently. And
I haven't even started mine, mate.
Yeah.
I bought the was it the Mark 1 Designs detail set for it, which cost as much as the kit. One day I'll get around to it.
Oh, there you go.
But as it is where I'm living at the moment, I don't have space to build big models.
Well, you could.
Yeah, but where would I put them?
Well, yeah, okay.
So that's the
Excuses,
problem.
excuses.
Back on the floor.
Back on the floor, yes. I can stumble around built kits. Oh, not a good thing early in the morning.
Brett Pulford writes in, and he says, I've been listening to the Scale Model podcast for a while, and they kept mentioning you guys, so I started listening as well. Well, thank you very much, Brett.
Did he say if he liked you or not?
Well, he's written to us, so he must like
Yeah,
us. I'm really enjoying the content as I selectively work my way through your back catalogue. Not quite up to date yet. I really enjoy the hints and tips that you guys present. I remember hearing Julian back in episode 76 say that he doesn't gloss coat before decals. That got me wondering how required it really is. When I got back to the modelling a few years ago, I completed the P40 Warhawk, and even though I gloss coated before the decals, they still silvered horribly. So, thoughts?
Well, what brand?
Well, it doesn't say.
Because some decal brands are just, can I say it, crap. There are some real bad decals out there. It's basically the silvering is where it hasn't adhered.
Yeah, and you got air or water underneath the decal. Yeah.
And usually the best way around that is usually put a little slice in it with a pin or with a sharp blade, and then just put some setting solution in there and with a Q-tip.
Moving back, and we could talk about this for hours, but moving back, do we gloss or not gloss before you decal?
I always gloss. I know Julian doesn't. I do. I'm old school.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. But you have to remember that I paint with MRP, and I always prime, and I end up with a very, very, very smooth surface that is probably smoother than if you would say spray Tamiya dry onto a model, where it ends up with that surface finish that's almost like sandpaper.
Yes.
And then you try and gloss a coat over the top of that, you're not going to be smoother than what I'm painting.
No.
So it's all relative. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, I always try and make it as as
Service preparation.
smooth and shiny as possible before I throw the decals on.
Well, Brett was so concerned about this, he went and did some experimenting. And he did decals without gloss coat, decals after being sanded. And his takeaway was decaling over a proper matte coat is not a good idea in his experience, but decaling over a decent coat of paint isn't much different from having a gloss coat, provided the decals are decent to start with.
Well, Paul Budzik, the
guru,
scratch building
Blessed be his
extraordinaire.
name.
Yes.
I believe his method is he polishes the surface with a t-shirt or something, doesn't he?
It doesn't work on Tamiya. Because I tried it and, didn't
I've
work.
never been a fan of Tamiya paints.
It's all I can get.
You?
Well, it's all as I'm willing to drive to.
Right.
I'm in Pakenham. It's a long way.
It is, yes. I'll just look. I'm old school. I'll just stick with me guns. I'm happy with guns. Guns doesn't go astray. You got to be careful with the guns, especially their flat clears.
Yeah.
They have a tendency not to be mixed properly, and if you're not careful, you get like little white dots, which is the unmixed talc.
Yep.
I don't have. If I go, you spend a bit extra. I think it's an extra $1 a pot, and you get the premium. You don't have as much problem with the premium paint, so I find the premium clears to be much better.
In any case, the whole gloss before decals thing has pretty much been debunked because, like, I believe it was Will Pattinson. He did a video where he put some decals onto literal sandpaper, and he got them to nestle down in all the little grooves and cracks and things on the.
Yeah,
on the
if you got the right setting solution,
yeah. Straight up, you should always be using a decal softer.
Oh, yeah.
Always, especially if you're doing the little stencils and stuff, because those are the ones that always silver the most, you know.
I think it depends too on the decals that you're using as well. So we know Tamiya decals are quite thick and they're quite prone to silvering. So I guess it comes back to you can't blanketly say thou shall never gloss coat before decals. So I think it really depends on the paint you're using, depends on the decals you're using.
Yeah, there's lots of variables in there, and that's part of like modeling in general. Like you got to account for all these variables with all, depending on your choices of paint and primer and various products. There is a school of thought that sort of suspects that the reason for silvering is the lack of adhesive underneath the decal, and that if you move the decal around a whole lot and you got lots of water coming in, then it'll wash it away, and then you'll end up with more silvering than you will otherwise.
Years ago, I built an Eschi Panavia Tornado.
Right.
Oh, we're talking 20, 30 years, maybe even longer ago. And I put the decals on that, and that was years. Well, I was still a youngster in the old-timey days, as Julian says.
Right, yeah.
Hasn't said it for a while, has he?
No, he hasn't. And the decals, after a day, fell off.
Right.
They literally just fell off. There was as if there was just either they were that old that the glue had deteriorated, or there was just no glue at the bottom on the undersurface of the decals at all.
I've had that happen.
They just fell. I just picked it up and there's all these decals everywhere. So what's going on here? I just spent 2 hours decaling you. Now you're all on the. And that was the last time I bought an Eschi kit.
Right, thanks for email, Brett. Next one, we got an email from the Wagga and District Scale Model Club. Hi, gang. Just listened to your latest podcast today at work. Another great show with plenty of rabbit holes. Just a correction for you to amend. In our last show, we mentioned that the WD SMC was having a show coming up later in the year.
Yep.
The Wagga show, let me read back. The traditional weekend for it was 23rd, 24th October 2021. Canberra and Expo both on the next weekend.
Yep.
The Wagga show has always been on the fourth weekend in October, and this year is going to be the 36th year that they've actually had it. So again, just to mention that, the Wagga and District Scale Model Show is actually going to be held on the 23rd and the 24th of October 2021 at the Wagga Showgrounds, which is in Burke Street, Wagga.
Fantastic.
Let's hope they're able to have it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, it's October, so it's a fair way out.
Fair way, yeah.
Since how long our lockdown was?
Yeah, well,
I know.
Yeah, and New South Wales is actually doing worse than we were.
Yeah. So thanks, Scott, for sending in that so we can correct that. So that's really good. No, I can't read that one out because it doesn't apply. That one is an email about my stuff coming in from overseas.
Oh, God.
Here we go. David Waples writes in, "Hi David, I think this is on your radar, but Black Cat Models have released a kit over the weekend, which is the Bathurst class Corvette. And he thought he'd just email us to let us know that it's coming."
Yes.
And now I do know that. It's a 1/700 scale kit from memory.
Gee,
No, it's
tiny.
1/350.
Well, is it
Yes.
the Black Cat Models one?
I'm pretty sure it is.
I thought it was a 1/700 scale.
It's either one or the other.
Yeah.
Really?
I know ship scales, it could be 1/525th scale.
Or it has to go a 1 to 420 scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is an annoying scale.
All right. Anyway, so thanks for letting us know about that.
Yes.
Well,
Andrew, I've got my Pacific Crossrays one, and I'm really happy with that kit.
Yeah?
That's a nice kit, that Bathurst
It
class.
is. It's very nice.
Yeah, it was a bit pricey for me, even I sort of stepped away
I
from
know,
that.
yeah. You backed right off on that
I
one.
did. Andrew Mills writes in, "G'day Dave, hope you and yours are safe and well." He has a question. Just having received his first set of beautifully detailed 3D printed tracks, it occurred to me, are we seeing the beginning of the end of photo etch and also of resin? What does the team think? Cheers, Andrew. Well, Andrew, we'll hold that question over. I think that will fit in really well with what we're going to be talking about. The other thing, I might hold that one over for what's new in the modelling world because that's really good. But this one I'm really excited about, where you got an email from IPMS Hamilton. And this is from the Chief Moosaroo Wrangler, Ian Fraser. And Ian writes in, "Hello, Moosaroo Modelling Maestros. Alan Murrell and myself have been very busy arranging everything for this year's Moosaroo Podcast Challenge. Each of the 6 podcasts have agreed to participate, and Alan and myself have been working diligently to come up with a build that will both highlight the skills of our participants as well as challenge their abilities and possibly their patience. Our first proposed challenge would have been for you to build a poorly repopped 1960s Airfix kit using only a kitchen knife, paintbrush and tube glue.
Oh, that's just cruel.
However, we here at IPMS Hamilton thought this would have been too simplistic for modellers of your calibre. So after a few more beers, we settled on this year's challenge. The kits have now been packed and are on their way."
Ooh.
Still doesn't tell us what it is, though.
No.
Hey, it's up to you, Dave.
I know.
You've got to make sure we continue our hat trick.
I know, but
I hope it's a vac form.
Jeez.
Oh, don't cave to the pressure, Dave. Oh.
He's going to choke. He'll choke.
Each competitor will receive a relatively recent release of a high-quality kit from a manufacturer known for their impeccable quality standards. These kits may be a bit out of your comfort zone, but nonetheless will be within your skill sets. You need to build it. That's it. You can build it out of the box, modify it, add it, take away from it, or kit bash to any extent you wish. The finish is completely open with colours, genre, schemes, weathering, alternate histories, or timeline changes are also acceptable. The only restriction is that there is no subcontracting help from buddies or anyone else. So all you other podcasts, you're hearing that? You can't substitute.
Isn't that like a roundabout way of saying that you think that their friends are better than your friends?
No, not at all.
No, they reckon you're cheaters. That's what they reckon.
The end product work must be the work of one modeller and one modeller only. This will be a chance to show off your unique styles. Do you have got a unique style? I do. I never finish.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's your unique.
Well, you're also fond of the clean build.
Yeah. I am. I do like a clean build.
I just wish you'd read that sentence in Sean Connery's accent.
The finished model can be displayed on the base or presented by itself. The finished entries will be judged based upon a series of photographs submitted to me, i.e. Ian Fraser, and judging will be done by a team comprised of renowned and experienced model judges selected by Alan and myself. The final judging team makeup will depend on availability, parole and rehab schedules, and we intend on using a combination of both AMPS and IPMS styles to allow for both subjective and objective aspects to be judged. The deadline and image requirements are enclosed in your shipments. That's it for now. Have some fun with it. Good luck and happy modelling. Ian Fraser, Chief Moosaroo Wrangler.
Well, there you go, Dave.
And
all on your shoulders.
Exciting, isn't it?
And many thanks to IPMS Hamilton for yet again stepping up and preparing to do this. I think it's a great
idea. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Yeah.
Of all you guys in all the different podcasts, who is the most competitive, do you think?
Ooh.
I don't think there is anyone that's really competitive.
I think some are more competitive than others.
Yeah.
I like the spirit of the competition, but I wouldn't say that I'm that competitive myself.
You're saying out of the three of us or out of all the podcasts?
Out of all the podcasts, all that there's a bit of a different philosophy to each podcast.
I reckon that probably the boys from... no, that's a good question.
I think we just build what we want.
Yeah,
I think the Kentucky boys are in trouble because they're not used to building to deadlines. Plastic Posse, they've got some really good builders over there.
Oh, yeah.
You're feeling a little intimidated, Dave.
It's just about competing, just doing it.
Yeah,
that's all it is. That's what you need to think.
James and Malcolm, so over in the UK, so geez, they're good models in their own right as well.
It's just about the friends you make along the way.
That is.
Yeah, but I want to not only have friends along the way, but I want to win and sort of stand triumphantly on the hill waving the flag saying I'm the winner.
So some competition is coming out now.
Yes.
All right, okay. You'll have to work on him.
Oh, we will, yeah. We'll get the whip out.
I don't like losing, put it that way. And I'm quite open to sabotaging other people to make sure I get there first.
How are you going to do that?
Gee, this has changed, hasn't it?
Oh, wow. I don't know. Well, you know what I have done? I've sent 2 packages of Vegemite across the world to a couple of them. So
laced with LSD.
No. Can't say that. No.
Parody.
So hopefully I'm hoping that they'll OD on it or something like that or get addicted to it and can't sort of model properly without having Vegemite. So.
Oh, you're hoping they're going to take a bite at just as they're putting the finishing touches on, and then they'll have like a heart attack or something.
I reckon you don't have to worry about the Canadian boys because I think their models will melt.
Why?
In their 50-degree temperature they've had recently in Canada.
Yeah, they've been
having a heat wave over there.
50-degree temperatures, yeah.
Wow, that's hot, man.
That is very hot.
That's even by our standards hot.
It's that hot the moose are melting.
Yeah. The Moosaroo cup will just...
It's not the cup anymore, it's the Moosaroo blob.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right.
Well, imagine the blades on that thing you built, the helicopter thing you built.
All right.
In 50-degree temperatures.
Yeah, it's not going to sag any further than that.
But it's down to photography as well, so you've got to have a good photographer to highlight.
Well, we got Julian.
Yeah.
He's our photographer.
Oh, but is that part of the... was that part of the thing, though?
Yes, you got to send pictures.
No, as in, like, with the whole you build it, Dave, does that mean that you also have to photograph it without our help?
That's too much
to
expect.
No. I've got a camera. So how am I going to take a photo anyway?
No,
you can do a drawing.
A charcoal rendering.
It'll look like one of those really poorly done like mugshot sketches like of like serial killers. Like, oh, I saw him and he had a beard and squinty eyes and
all right, so if you want to send us an email, feel free. The address is onthebench64@gmail.com.
And keep your words down about 5 letters so you don't confuse Dave.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm thinking you just need to use a large font.
And spell it phonetically.
Yes, all of the above. God, Gosh, you guys are so cruel to me. Don't forget, if you want to find out about more modelling podcasts, we have a website which is modelpodcast.com. Just go there and you'll see all the other podcasts.
Well, that has so far on it. There's still more coming.
Oh, yes, more coming.
Yeah.
But it has all the current modelling podcasts as well as more coming, like you said, Ian. But that's the place to go to find out.
And if you have a modelling podcast and you're not on there, drop us a line.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll happily put you on there.
Absolutely.
We're all here to help each other out.
Very good. I think before we have a look at what's new in the modelling world, we might have a quick break. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? It's my show, so that's what's happening. Right, back in a couple of minutes. Whether you build aircraft, armour, ships, science fiction, cars or figures, the Fine Scale Modeller magazine provides the how-to information you need to take your modelling to the next level. In each issue of Fine Scale Modeller, you'll find clear how-to features on model assembly and finishing written by experts, reviews of the hottest model kits and products, tips and techniques for assembling, painting and finishing, as well as inspiring photos of readers' models. To find out how you can get your copy of Fine Scale Modeller, go to www.finescale.com. So welcome back to the show, and we're going to have a look at what's new in the modelling world. First cab off the rank is KLP Publishing, who do a lot of ebooks. They've recently released their latest title, Building Large-Scale Science Fiction and Fantasy Models. This is a 473-page ebook by Jason Gurez. Compiles a terrific series of articles that he originally wrote for the now defunct Sci-Fi and Fantasy Modeller magazine.
I remember that.
The book's flagship feature kicks things off with a massive 80 pages plus build article on Jason's fantastic Star Wars vignettes. These are the droids you're looking for. And there's 7 other articles that follow to cover it, with a terrific range of science fiction and fantasy modelling, including building and painting figures, making bases, building resin kits, and doing your own resin casting. The digital book is available to purchase and download for 20 Aussie dollars, which in the US is about
reasonable.
$5.
That's very reasonable.
It's about 17 or something. Just go to www.klp.com.au and you'll be able to find the latest large-scale sci-fi fantasy models publication.
Fantastic.
So that's great news. Before we find out what the Falcon's got to say, some modelling news from Meng, who are doing a new 2-seat Superbug F model in 48 scale. Meng has released details and CAD images of their second Super Hornet in the form of the 2-seater F version in 148 scale, which looks pretty darn cool for those of you who like building the bug.
Does Australia have those?
Yes, we do. We have the Super Hornet. So the RAAF bought them as a stopgap measure after we between the F111 and the F35s.
Yeah.
And by all accounts, I think we're going to be hanging on to them for quite some time because they're a really good piece of kit.
And we're waiting for the F-35.
No, we've got the F-35.
How many? 2?
No. We've got about 40 of them now.
Really?
In country,
oh,
yeah.
Wow, they're keeping that quiet. Perhaps that's a good thing, I guess.
Loose lips sink ships,
yes.
Robert. So hence the reason for that. So it looks like a really good kit if you... And it's interesting because as I said, I've bought my first Meng aircraft kit, which is the F-106 and F-102. So I'm really keen to see how they build. I've built some of their armour before, and I quite like Meng kits. They go together really well.
I haven't seen the F-102 and F-106, but I've heard really, really good things about them.
Oh, good.
So
this F-18 that they're building, or that they're going to be putting out soon, it comes with 2 US Navy figures, which would be really good, featuring realistic gestures, and finely replicated suit and equipment are included, and 2 flight helmet options are available.
Cool.
That looks really, really cool.
Hey.
It's about time they started doing more sort of relaxed and normal posed figures.
Yeah,
I remember the Airfix ones where they got the hands in their lap.
Yes.
Yes. Well, the figures were just little blobs, really, weren't they? We couldn't really call them a figure.
Usually had a hole in their stomach as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Revell have announced a Sea Vixen FAW2 70th anniversary in 1/72nd scale. Oh, gee, that looks pretty hot, actually.
That's probably a frog kit, I think.
Oh, no, don't say that. You reckon it's a re-release?
Yeah, it's either although I think Cyber Hobby did one, but I don't know if Revell have any dealings with Cyber Hobby.
They're also doing in 1/144th scale a Das Boot Collector's Edition 40th anniversary. This is of a Type 7.
Does it say how long that is in 144 scale?
Length is 465 millimetres.
That's
so
a decent size.
Just under half a metre. So it's pretty darn cool.
It's nicely detailed by the looks of it too.
Well, in that scale, it'll have to be. There's a Volkswagen in 1/24th scale, which is got, I'm assuming it's the Who band.
It is
on
the
side.
Who. Roger Daltrey, Pete Townsend.
So with this set, Revell brings together two legends whose careers began in the 60s and continue to this day. Both the band The Who, as well as the VWT1.
Oh yeah, they are still around, the Who.
Like the van, the
Still
British
alive.
rockers are still active and regularly on tour today. So, it's a lot
Looks like they've kind of taken a...
Look at the floor.
There's only one thing missing.
What's that?
Smashed guitars.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Pete was renowned for smashing guitars.
Yeah, but it was never their guitars.
Yeah.
They used to borrow them from local music shops. We're borrowing them.
Oh, did they?
See ya.
The kit comes with a multi-piece body, movable doors and tailgate, rotating wheels, chrome hubcaps, door handles and wipers, authentic decals in the Who designed.
And an interior that looks like straight from a barbershop.
Next one in 1/24th scale, there's a gift set Audi R10 TDI Le Mans plus 3D puzzle. What the heck is that? Looks like it's a plastic kit, but has a... What would you call that in the background?
It's got the Dunlop bridge, as they call it.
Yeah.
Which is a Dunlop bridge, and looks like a bit of Amco railing.
Yeah, it's like a small cardboard
Like
diorama sort of thing.
Yeah. So they make it look like it's on the racetrack.
Sorry, is this Revell we're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. Does it seem a little bit toyish?
All Revell kits always seem a bit toyish when they're displays to me.
It's just when Glow 2B took over Revell, Germany,
Yeah.
they said that they were going to sort of pivot more towards the toy part. So that might be part of that.
Yeah, it could be.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
But if you're into Le Mans sort of cars, it's not a bad looking
Might be
kit.
okay.
In 1/144 scale, they are doing I'm pretty sure this is a re-release of the Space Shuttle and booster rockets. I know some of the space builders are quite excited about this re-release. There are some known inaccuracies about the kit, but by and large it builds quite a passable kit.
Is
Well, it
there
looks like a space shuttle.
Yeah. Is there a 72nd scale space shuttle?
There is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have it,
who
Dave?
makes it.
No, I don't. No.
It'd be a big beast in 70 seconds.
Yeah. So this kit comes with 2 external fuel tanks with solid rockets, mobile launch pad, which is really cool to get the launch pad with it. 3 detailed rocket engines, end stages, open cargo, bay doors, and movable arm transport, the loading arm, which I think was a Canadian arm. No, that's on the space station. Sorry. Next in 1/24th scale, and we're back to VWs again. This time it's a VW T1 camper.
Oh, cool.
For those of you who like building your car models.
It's a classic look, isn't it?
It is.
Such a classic look for a VW van.
One might say it even looks old-timey.
It does,
Yay!
Well, I think
Take a drink.
1961, in your mind, would classify as old-timey.
I think anything before 1970s, isn't it?
I think anything before the 80s is old-timey for Julian.
Well, it certainly doesn't look modern for its era.
No, not at all.
And also, Revell are releasing a workstation, which is just a little plastic sort of tray that you can put some of your...
little added bits you can put your paint pots in. And
It's not even red.
No.
Why does it need to be red?
Oh, well, Julian only buys the display stuff.
Oh,
It's red.
Yeah, but it's anodized aluminium red.
You've seen their latest offering from Display, that sanding.
No.
That no one. It's like some sanding station that no one can figure out how it works because the way they've done their instructions, it's just so confusing.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, it's like something that you can like. I think you can clamp something in there, and it's got like a sliding sanding section that you can sand everything nice straight edges.
I actually like the idea of it, like to be able to sand angles accurately, which is really hard.
I'm just going to get myself one of those little orbital sanders that sits on a 90-degree angle and just.
Yeah, well,
but is it red anodized? It needs to
I
be
can paint it red.
No, it's got to be anodized.
Yeah.
Well,
professional look.
What else we got, Dave?
Let's have a look what's coming from Italeri for July, and they've announced a mass 563/568 with crew, a 135th scale torpedo boat from the Italian Navy.
Hey, hasn't that already been released?
Yeah, I think it's a repop.
With those lovely red and white stripes on the front. Though.
Yeah, I love those red and white stripes.
Looks gorgeous. This kit builds quite well from what I've seen from other people who've built it in the past. And although I suspect it may be a new kit because they're displaying all of the sprue shots and everything, maybe.
Yeah, it's not new.
No, it's not new. It's definitely a repop.
Italy reclaim they're putting out new things all the time that aren't new.
Yeah.
It might have some extra bits in it, but yeah.
More interestingly and excitingly for some people is they're doing a OH-13 Sioux in 148 scale, which is a helicopter. Just think a la MASH, the TV series. Australian Navy, Australian Army actually used some of these, and it was used extensively by a lot of Western militaries, and is ubiquitous as a helicopter in its use during Korea into
Vietnam.
Yes, it was used in Vietnam, but it was used by the Germans, used by the Italians, by the US, of course, Spain.
Oh yeah, we painted. You've got the option to paint in so many different colours.
Green and green.
Seems like everyone who got it painted a different colour.
Well, there's not too many colours.
Well, the German one's red.
There's a Spanish one as well.
It'll be interesting to see how this builds. I'm pretty sure this is a repop as well. I think this came out once upon a time, many, many years ago. So,
do you think it's possible to do the booms on that in scale, in injection plastic?
I do. How you would actually manage to get it square as you're building it is another question altogether. So, I'll be interested to see how modelers actually tackle that.
Yep.
I reckon to do that in brass, soldered brass would be good.
Oh, yeah.
Not easy, but good.
Would it tip over then?
It'd be very
Oh,
tail
you
heavy.
might have to put a nose weight in it, but you probably have to anyway.
We're going to put a nose weight in it. There's nothing in the nose. It's all clear plastic.
I didn't say it would be easy.
Oh, the little pods at the top.
Where the engine is.
Not just that, you could cast all your instrumentation in lead.
You guys are idiots.
Depleted uranium to make it.
Depleted uranium.
The reason why you would even consider doing all the framework on the tail in brass is because you know that on a kit like that from Italeri, you know it's going to have like misaligned molds, and you're going to end up with like a horrible stepping kind of thing through the middle of all those poles.
Yeah, that'd suck.
In 135th scale, moving on, still from Italeri, a Breda 20-65 mod 35 with crew, which is basically
The mountain gun.
A horse.
That's the anti-aircraft gun.
Is it a horse or a
Dual
mule?
function
It's
weapon,
a mule.
really. Can be used both in the anti-aircraft role against ground targets, just as effective against lightly armoured vehicles. So this kit comes with the gun itself, a mule towing the gun. So obviously it's not a Western nation.
Yeah, it looks very. The mule looks very reluctant.
I don't know. We used a fair few of the equines during the Second World War.
Doesn't that seem like a very sort of atypical scene though? Like, is it you got like the donkey that doesn't want to cooperate? You know?
Some guy's struggling to get it to move.
Yeah.
Stubborn critters.
And in 172nd scale, an EF 2000 Typhoon in RAF service.
Yeah, it's a Typhoon.
Yeah.
One of them's got D-Day stripes.
Well, they're too
that
straight.
was-
They're all painted with brooms, don't you know?
Yeah, I know. It's shocking. Inaccurate.
Oh, okay. Now, let's have a look at what the Falcon has to say, unless you
I
guys
found
have got
something.
something.
I found something. Yeah.
Oh, please tell us. What did you find?
I'm pretty sure it was ICM.
Yes.
Yesterday I saw on online the boxing for a 148 scale Beaufort Mark 1.
Ooh.
So finally someone's doing a Beaufort in 48 scale.
Didn't Airfix recently do a Beaufort?
In 70 seconds.
In 70 seconds scale, yeah.
Not in 48.
Right.
So for us RWF fans with a fair bit of scratch building, might be able to get an RWF Beaufort Mark.
At the very least, someone will do
an 8,
a resin update.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah,
and then
someone did one for the Airfix 72nd scale kit.
Yes, they did, yes. So hopefully they'll just upscale that and we'll finally be able to build some good Aussie Beauforts.
Now, because I got a poor memory, and I can't remember what was mentioned last episode, have we mentioned Tacham's Zeppelins?
No, hold your powder on that one because the Falcon's got some news on it.
Oh, does he?
Yes.
Ooh.
Speaking of which, let's dive in and see what the Falcon's got to say. Hi, Dave, Ian and Julian. And to Julian, I say, come on, mate, give us a hot chip. Well, that's very cryptic, isn't
Yes,
it?
it's because I called him the seagull last time.
As usual, we'll start with aircraft news. Taken have announced they are working on two 1350 scale Zeppelin kits, the AP class and the Q class. Even in 1350 scale, they're going to be large models. The P class Zeppelin will be 466 millimetres long, and the Q class will be a whopping 510 millimetres.
So which one was the Hindenburg?
Neither of those.
Neither.
I think they might be World War One.
Oh, right.
Yep.
I see. Yep.
Of course, Ian won't be able to get one because he wouldn't fit in his notoriously tiny modelling closet. Though I suppose you could always knock a hole in the wall and sort of poke the nose of Zeppelin through one hole and
out
sort
the
of
other.
build it. Feel free to make up your own joke with that one. KP models have shown sprues and box art for two new 172nd scale World War I aircraft kits, a Newport triplane and a de Havilland DH5. There will be two boxings of each. Not sure what they have in store for the Newport, but the DH5 will have separate boxings for British and Australian operators.
Ooh, nice.
These are slated for release in July, and we can expect to see more World War I subjects from KP. Talk is there will be 72nd scale kits of the Airco DH4, DH9 and Avro 504 in the near future.
Has anyone seen what the Newport triplane looks like?
No,
I can't say.
It's like they've taken a normal Newport 17,
Yep.
and they've just shoehorned another wing in between the two wings, and it's forward of them, and the top wing's pushed back a bit. I know someone on one of the forums said it looks like it's been pre-crashed.
Everything's been shoved backwards.
Yeah. Just it's weird. In World War One, after the triplane came out, it seems everyone had to go out making a triplane.
Yeah.
They just get the standard plane and just stick extra wings on
Yeah,
it.
stick an extra set of wings on,
Yeah.
away you go.
Most unsuccessful.
Yes.
I'm surprised no one tried putting on an extra wing at the rear.
Yeah.
Someone probably
The French probably did.
Someone probably did, Julian.
Yeah. Still with the Falcon, and he says, we haven't finished with KP yet. They also announced a 72nd scale kit of the Dornier Dassault Breguet Alpha Jet. Not just the one either. They will produce the kits of the AE/MS1 and also the MS2. Micromere have shown CAD renders of the Mitsubishi J4M Sedan scale in 172nd scale. If that isn't obscure enough for you, they've also announced a 172nd scale kit of the knit kit. Is that knit kit?
Knit kit? Okay.
Nicked. Nickin. Niktin. Nictin.
Yeah, Nickton.
Yeah, Nictin. Which is a PSN-2.
Which means absolutely nothing to me.
Well, apparently it's a Soviet float plane glider from 1940.
Oh, hang on. Is that torpedo glider they made? And it's like the little cockpit right at the front.
Yeah.
It's shaped like a torpedo with floats, and it was a torpedo carrying glider.
Which sounds like a fantastic idea.
Yeah, like the German BV-40. You know, you got one way down.
Well, apparently it was a test bed for an infrared guided gliding anti-shipping bomb. So,
Okay. And my memory, it was painted red too.
That rings a bell.
Oh, there you go. Dora Wings 48 scale Curtis Wright AT-9 Jeep is now on sale. Quite cute for a little plane with some attractive marking options. Might be worth picking one up if you want to build something a little different.
Yeah.
It looks a bit like a full-size egg plane.
Oh, I know the one. Yeah, the Jeep. Yeah.
And as we've already mentioned, and the Falcon found this as well, Meng is showing CAD renders for the upcoming 148 scale Boeing FA-18F Super Hornet. What is surprising is that it's coming so soon with the release planned in July.
We already know.
Yeah.
Just read out earlier.
Not sure if the next one strictly qualifies as aircraft, but Takom have announced a 1/144th scale class kit of the Loon class Extrunner plan, the famous Caspian Sea Monster. Well,
That'd be big.
Well, another big one at 510 millimetres long. Going to need a bigger bench.
Mm-hmm.
Models are getting massive now, aren't they?
Oh, they are, yeah.
Yeah, but these are in 1/350 scale.
Yeah.
So, or that one's in 1/144th, I should say. But the Zeppelin's in 1/350 scale. So, for me as a constant scale shipbuilder, that's awesome.
That is good.
All right, let's move on to the military news now. It was guessed at, but now confirmed that Academy is the one doing the design and tooling for Airfix's new tool 135th vehicle kits. So to be fair, Academy should get the blame for the Cromwell's wheels and whatever turns out to be wrong with the Austin K2Y ambulance. Well, that's interesting. So Academy's doing the work.
Yeah. I know all of Airfix's previous 35th scale kits had been Academy kits, like the ones they just released recently, and people have been talking about it, so confirmed. So Airfix can't do it themselves, so they send it to someone that hopefully can do it, but not that well.
Well, see, that's like Wingnut Wings sent all their stuff to Meng to do, weren't they?
Yeah, but the difference is at Wingnut Wings, they say, do this, do that.
Yep.
At Airfix, they obviously left it up to them, because if they can put out a kit with the wrong number of bolts on the wheel, they weren't paying a lot of attention.
Yeah. Okay, that's disappointing. Cam is to release a 35th scale kit of the Vickers 6-ton tank, the ALF B late production UK version. Markings for Bulgaria, Thailand and the UK. The kit comes with a full interior. The Vickers,
those kits look pretty good.
Is that little thing with all like the quad machine guns on it?
The first one had 2 turrets.
Right.
And then the other, lots of variations. It ended up being the Russians basically copied it for the T-26.
Okay.
And it was the British didn't really want them, but they were very successful being sold everywhere. Because cams it's not the first of their kit based on the Vickers 6-ton. They've probably about 7 or 8 of them. They started out with some Chinese. The Chinese had some. So yeah, they've got a lot of, and the finish as well. So they've got a lot out of those moulds with not much changes.
Cool. Mini-Art have yet another version of the Austin Armoured Car ready for release. Gee, they're powering through these.
Aren't they ever?
The Austin Armoured Car Indian pattern. The new kit will feature all the decals specific to the Indian version and includes 4 marking options, not surprisingly for all vehicles operated in India. Mini-Art have also announced a 35th scale T44 with interior. You're probably saying to yourself, haven't they already issued a T44 with interior? Well, yes, they have, but that kit only had a partial interior, just the fighting compartment and the engine. The new release adds a fully detailed driver's compartment and a transmission into the mix. Wow.
Can I add?
Yeah.
Copper State models. Their next release after the Russian BV, whatever
the Bolt, the Russo Bolt.
The Russo Bolt.
Which looks really good. You already got that one.
That one's definitely on the list to get there. We'll be releasing the Italian armoured car, the Lancia, but as the mid-war version, so under German and Italian in the desert. So it's going to have the more modern wheels. Besides that, it's going to look identical.
Yep.
And it comes with rubber tyres too.
Is that good or bad?
Bad.
On car kits, you can get away with rubber tyres on car kits.
I think basically if you sort of make sure you seal the wheels so that you've got a barrier between the paint and the or a paint barrier between the plastic and the vinyl.
Yeah, because that's what the problem is. The vinyl after a while melts the plastic.
And someone will bring out some resin wheels.
Yeah.
Seata I've never heard of this company before.
Yeah, you have.
Have I?
They're the weird company that makes the mannequin-looking 35th scale figures.
Right, yes.
And they also have that, I think it's 48 scale Panther with a crane thing over the top.
Well, this time they're releasing a Panther OS FA with Zimmerit. Kit includes full interior, and from what we can see in the CAD renders, it's going to be comprehensive. The real point of difference for this kit is that it's in 1/48 scale. Border Models have announced a new 1/35th scale M4A3E8 Sherman. That's a mouthful. Not that exciting, as there are plenty of options out there for this particular variant of the Sherman. Perhaps more interesting was the news that Border are working on a Kodiak AEV3 armoured engineering vehicle. It's based on the Leopard 2 and has a great big digger arm. Something a bit different for the modern armour builders.
Is that the kit that made him lose his brain?
No, it was, what was it? It was the
Canadian Leopard 2.
Yeah.
Canadian Leopard 2 was the one he had the big meltdown.
Copper State Models will release another boxing of their fifth scale Lancia 1ZM, which I think you guys are talking about.
Yep.
A German PZ SP WG.
Panzer Sparwagen.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Should make him say it.
I reckon so too.
I did say Panzer Sparwagen.
You did?
Yeah.
Well done.
Good. Effectively, it's a 1ZM operated by Germany during World War II.
But it does come with Italian markings as well.
Okay. Trumpeter have a couple of new kits in the way. A 1/35th scale Russian T80 BVM MBT, which is their version of Marine Corps, and a 1/72nd scale Soviet T10 M heavy tank.
Something for Julian to make to go into his trophy hunting.
Maybe. I'll think about it. I haven't thought about the trophy hunting for a while.
Hobby Boss will be releasing a A1/35 MRAP all-terrain vehicle, showing only CAD renders at this stage. Sabre Model are releasing a 1/35th scale Kesselwagen Bart Deutsch 1941 to 1990, or a German railway car type Deutsch.
Mm-hmm.
I've got no idea what the heck that is.
It'd be a railway carriage.
Yeah.
Probably an armoured railway carriage.
Type Deutz.
The kit,
A German one, yes.
Yeah, but what's interesting is they used it for so long.
to up to 1990.
Yeah.
1941, 1990.
Wow. Must have been a half decent design.
If you scrape back the paint and get back to bare marks.
When you think about it, some of the stuff they made during the war lasted a long while. Like I know that the Norwegian Navy was still using Schnellboats up to the 1970s.
Wow.
German S100 Schnellboats.
But this is just a railway car, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's there's only so many ways you can design a bike. So
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it always makes me laugh. Other countries come out with what looks like to be copies of Western stuff, or vice versa. Like, oh, they're copying us. Well, there's only so many ways you can draw a stealth fighter, or so many ways you can build and design a motorcycle. They're all, at some level, they're all going to look fairly similar.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, that's my little rant.
Well, it's not necessarily true. It's just that when people go off road and do something different, it usually doesn't work.
Oh, that's true. The Falcon says, I normally stick mostly to injected kits, but came across a company called Vargas, V-A-R-G-A-S, Vargas models, who are offering a 1/35th 3D printed kits. The latest is a kit of the Christie medium tank, the M1919.
The old Christie, eh?
This is the Christie tank that didn't have the Christie suspension. However, if you want a kit of that tank, Vargas are currently preparing one.
Oh, cool.
While on the subject of 3D printed tanks, FC Model Trend are releasing a 1/48 scale kit of the World War I Ford 3-ton tank. While it was completely useless, unless it does score very highly on the Cutometer, it's adorable. I've got to get that World War I Ford tank.
I saw a film of that on YouTube, and it made me laugh.
Yeah, really?
It's this little tiny little tank, and it's supposed to be going over an obstacle. It just goes up the obstacle, turns straight over on its back with its tracks going in the air.
like a turtle.
Yeah.
It's not the tank they had in the old Abbott and Costello movie where they joined the army and...
I haven't seen that.
Well be.
Yeah. And they got these tiny little tankette things they're all
It
cruising
didn't
around
have a
in.
turret. It just had a gun sticking out the
Yeah,
front.
yeah, I think that's the
Maybe it
one.
was
Yeah,
that,
yeah. And you look at it, and you go, yeah, that's about as useful as one of those Canadian machine gun carriers from World War One.
All right, and lastly from the Falcon, some news about ship kits.
Yay.
Takem have shown CAD renders of the 1/350 scale German Sachsen class air defence frigate. I understand this is Takem's first 1/350 scale ship kit.
Is that a modern ship? Or?
Yeah, it is, yep. Hopefully it'll hit at the park on the first attempt. And I've got to say, I've had a look at those CAD renders too, and they look to be absolutely brilliant. So,
Is it a ship you're interested in?
it's a ship I'd build.
Yeah.
In fact, it was considered for the Australian Navy before we decided to go with the... I'm pretty sure it was looked at.
I could do a what if.
Yeah, well, I could do a what if.
But a ship what if is not really interesting, is it?
No,
They're all grey, aren't
ship
they?
what if, ship what ifs are not interesting at all. So, and in late news, I've got a question that came in from a listener, Manuel Smith, who writes, what was the brand of model car paint that you guys mentioned last year that had very hot lacquer but had many real colours to choose from? I can't for the life of me remember it, and he can't find it when he goes back to the episodes.
Is it Zero Paints?
I think it was Zero.
Zero Paints.
Zero
And
Paints.
there was another brand as well. I'm trying
Gravity.
to remember. Gravity, yeah. So there's Gravity Paints and Zero Paints. They're the
Yeah,
ones
but I
that do
think
the automotive.
there are some more brands out there these days
Yeah.
that I haven't tried yet.
Mm.
Like I think it's Splash or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name. I haven't tried it yet, so it's not really stuck in my memory.
But a lot of these cars, they're all like, most of them are modern car colours. Like I had a look at the Zero Paints and they got not much for the 70s.
I'm just thinking they're working together. Zero gravity.
Yeah, Zero Gravity. Ooh. Your paint will never stick. It'll just float in the air and disappear.
No, that's the opposite of what happens. It descends on your model and just melts it into like a puddle.
It's just nothing. Put it on and watch your model kit float away.
Yes, indeed. All right, that's all I've got from the Falcon. So thank you, Falcon.
You know, with the Zeppelin model in 1/350,
Yeah.
when I try to start to think about, like, if you wanted to do a diorama with little biplanes buzzing around it, I mean, obviously there's no kits for those, but they'd be so tiny. They'd be like mosquitoes.
1/350, you can get 1/350 scale World War One biplanes through Shapeways.
Oh, Shapeways, yeah, that'll make sense.
I'm thinking what it would look good with is with a German ship, because they used to scout for the ships.
Yes.
So that would go.
Plus, they'd refuel over the ocean with ships.
Yeah, so I was right just a second ago when I said that there's a...
Oh, of course, you're always right, Julian.
We never doubted you.
No, about the car paint. The car paint brand, yeah,
Oh,
Splash.
yeah. Splash.
Yeah,
Must
so
be a new one on there.
that's one that I haven't tried yet. So they do specifically just old and new car paints, as well as some mech, Gundam type paints as well.
Right. Oh, so they do old-timey
I think
paints.
they overlap those two genres because they've both got pretty bright colours involved. But yeah, they'll do all the old muscle car colours.
Good. That's what I want, because I've got that many Mopars in the collection, but I just don't have the paints for them.
Yep. Well, maybe you should hit them up.
Yeah, get some purples and oranges and lime
Yeah, they
greens.
do all those funny
Yellows.
colours that they
love them.
What was that purple colour they used to
Plum
do?
Crazy.
Yeah, plum crazy.
Plum Crazy. You had Mellow Yellow.
Well, very creative names. I give them that.
Yeah, that's some great stuff.
Yeah, not like surf mist and stuff like that. It's
Surf mist,
boring.
yeah, boring. Admiralty Grey.
By the way, Ian, I saw you made the Super Bee the car.
I've got a model of the
I thought
Dodge.
you built it.
No, I haven't built it yet.
Oh, okay.
I've got the 68 Super
I saw
Bee.
some footage of one of those in real life. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's a mad machine,
No wonder
isn't
people didn't buy it. You couldn't drive that down the street.
It's
People
just-
would laugh at you.
it? It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Actually, or are you thinking of the ones with the long nose and the big tail?
Yeah, this is the one with the giant
No,
tail.
that's the no, it's not. Oh, that's actually that's right. That's the Super B. Yes, the Super Bs, and you also had the Dodge Daytonas,
Right.
Daytona Chargers, which were the same. But yeah, most dealerships they just took all that off because people wouldn't buy them. But I have seen a great photo. If you sit on the boot, it actually makes a good table if you're having dinner. Because at the right height, you can just rest your plate on the tail, and that tail was actually you could. There was screws on each end of the tail. You can actually adjust the angle of the tail.
Oh, right. Does it have cup holders?
You could do that with a nice hole saw.
Does your table at home have cup holders?
Yeah, but that's not like a picnic table.
Well, then again, does your table at home do over 200 mile per hour?
I've never tried, but I doubt it.
All right, let's have a chat about our headline subject, which is modelling in 2035.
Welcome to the world of tomorrow.
Only 14 years away.
Don't say that.
Which is not long in terms of... Oh, I'll probably be dead. But...
I'll probably dead.
But...
Hang on. Let's have a talk about that. Because you've just told me you've got a big, huge stash. So what's your plans if you're going to pop off this mortal coil? What's going to happen to all those kits of yours?
Well, the best thing I saw was post on Hyperscale. People were, fretting about what's going to happen to the kits when they die. And somebody came in and said, do you care what happens to your socks when you die?
Yeah. So
that's the way I feel about it.
You're dead. You're not going to give a damn.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, but I care. All those kits are without a home anymore.
Yeah, but you won't know about it.
But I will, because I'll still be alive.
I will. You'll be alive after you die.
No, when you die, I'll still be alive.
Well, if you want, you can have them then. I don't care. I'll be gone. You can have my socks as well if you
You
like.
you heard that? You heard that, listeners?
Well, what I did think was I would tell my family.
Yes.
Or put in the will or whatever, if I get a will done, is the kids go to the club.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
That was
like
my
it.
plan.
That's a good idea.
Kids go to the club, they can sell it off, buy themselves whatever they want.
Cool.
And I might add too, I think I'm really becoming a kit collector. And I buy kits. I now know I'm not going to
Yeah,
build.
I'm getting
I know
that
I'm
way
not gonna
too,
build.
yeah.
But I'm to the point now where I was looking at some old Airfix kits back from when I was a kid, and the red stripe boxes. These are the older ones. I'm not sure what year. I could almost. I thought, I could buy that. I would never intend building it. I might even just buy the box if they had them available.
Well, the only time I did that was I bought the kit from Airfix, which was my first ever kit I ever built as a kid.
Right.
And I've got to wait. Oh, I think it's next year I can actually build it because that'll be the 50th anniversary for when I first started building models. Right. So what I want to do is see what the difference is between 50 years.
Well, I can't actually remember my first kit, but I can remember my first thing that I purchased from Airfix, and it was the little space astronaut set from the Apollo.
No, this is the
series.
HMS Cossack in 1700 or 1600 scale, I think, Airfix, 1600.
Should we get back to 2035?
Man, we get
drifted a long
sidetracked.
way.
We hadn't even started to
So
get
quickly.
sidetracked. All right. 2035. So what does it look like for modelling in that time period, in 14 years' time?
I think it's going to change a lot in some ways and not at all in others. Like people often talk about 3D printing, and apparently I was seen on one of the forums people saying this is the end of modelling because someone's come out with a 3D printer that prints in colour and prints all the markings and stuff.
That's so fun out of it.
Well, this is it's not modelling anymore.
No.
That is strictly kit collecting. If you buy that, there's no involvement from you. You might pick the scheme, but it is like buying a die cast, pre-built die cast.
Yeah.
That's not modelling.
No.
So people are fretting about this. Don't worry about it. That's not us. That's another group of people. I still think
splitters.
And I'd also, my personal opinion is, I think people will still want kits. They don't want to buy. Well, some people will buy like a file for to have something printed out, but I still think people want kits the same way you want books. So a book is so much better than a file. You read on your Kindle, an ebook.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more tactile.
Yeah. So,
and that's what we need. We need to be able to. It's hands. Modelling is hands on. Your fingers and your mind are got to be busy. Fair enough. If you, as Robert said, if some of these companies are going to start bringing out complete kits, all you got to do is just press a button. Well, that's not modelling anymore.
I can see in the future the choice where people who have 3D printers, and we're talking about the proper ones that the
Anycubic photons and so forth,
where they'll have a choice of either purchasing a kit or purchasing the file to print that particular kit.
So the problem I find at the moment, that's not feasible because they'd have to have like I'd say like this message will self-destruct in 5 minutes sort of thing in the program, that otherwise you're going to spend like, I don't know, $20 on a kit, and you'll be able to like print out 40, 50 versions of that from that one file.
Look,
and then you can flog them off to your mates for $5. It's not going to be making the original company that's doing it any money.
Look, that's not going to happen anyway because there's no way it can know if you've had a successful print or not.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not going to be able to just go, I'll just buy another one and another one until I get one that actually works.
It'd have to be some way that you'd have to get onto the company and they would have to be able to access your printer so they can print off a copy via their server onto your onto your printer. That's the only safe way for them to do it, rather than being being abused. And
I think people are giving way too much credit to 3D printing. There's a lot of trial and error in it.
Oh, there is, yeah. But we're talking 15 years or 14 years in the future. By then, they're going to have a lot of this sorted out.
And a lot of new printers on the market too.
I don't think they will.
No,
because it's already been around for like 30 years. It's been around a long time. Talk to Will; he'll tell you about how he's been involved with 3D printing for decades.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's taken this long to get to the point where it's now viable and cheap enough to have one in your own room.
Yep.
Yeah, but look at it like cameras, right? Cameras have been around for like 100 years or something or more. And then how long did it take before you had consumer-friendly pricing on cameras? Like earliest it was like in the 70s or something, right? Or 60s, maybe, earlier, whatever. It took a long time before it was compact and easy enough for the average person to use. That's what we're going through at the moment. But it still took a long time to go from that to the point where you could also develop it yourself. Right? That's the important part. Like, because anybody can buy a 3D printer right now and then, like, download some files off the internet and print it. Print out, like, some stupid, like, coaster or something like that. Because, let's face it, how many 3D models are there of the stuff that you want to print that would actually be usable in a model that you're going to use right now?
Well, actually, a lot of the SpaceX stuff and the modern space stuff is all in 3D printing now.
Right.
Yeah.
And Dukes was printing like full-size models, and he's having a lot of trouble doing it, and he's burning out plenty of money doing it.
Yeah, there's the cost involved.
So
yeah, but
he'll set this thing going overnight, and then in the morning he comes in to find it's screwed up a little bit, just enough to throw it off. It looks like in a photo, it looks like that's a finished model right there. And it's like you look at it and it's like no, but there's so enough warping and stuff that went wrong in the structural things, and it didn't come out.
But you're talking 2021. We're talking what's it going to be like in 2035, and so these hurdles and everything we're seeing now will be well resolved by the time we get to 2035.
I'm not sure if they will.
Really?
Because like there's still going to be a high degree of error involved, right? Because like the resolution will keep going up, but there would need to be a new revolution in the types of printers available in order to cut down on the printing time. Because otherwise, as the resolution goes up, so does the time it takes to print. Because the more detail you can put in, the more layers it has to print into your model. And the more time it takes. Because remember, it still has to come down, flash off the UV lamp kind of thing, the screen.
Yep.
To cure a layer of liquid resin into a solid.
Yep.
And then it goes up and then comes down and does it again.
Yep.
So the higher the resolution gets, the longer it takes to print. There would have to be like a new technology come out. Like, resin 3D printing goes away and gets replaced by some other type of print. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe it won't, right? But in any case, it's still resin. That's what people forget. 3D printing this stuff is no different than you buying our Aries resin. It's still a pain in the ass to work with. You're still going to have to glue it together with super glue and araldite and whatever else, right?
True.
It's not that magical. And then you look at what Dukes is doing and how he's got like certain different types of resin will come out with different quality prints.
Yeah, but again, he's working with, and good on him and everything by sort of trying all the stuff out, but he's working in 2021.
Yes, but think about it this way. At the moment, you've got regular resin, and then you've got like this resin that's supposedly better at providing like better sort of smoothing in between all the different layers, right? It comes out better for quality prints. And that's how it is right now. In the future, they'll be like, this is your fast-acting one, and here's your slow-acting one that's more... And you'll have different ones for different types, which will add to the... It'll be like brands of paint in the modelling industry today, and so like people will be troubleshooting between different types of resin. And, oh, this is good for that, but not good for this. And why didn't mine come out right? And they'll be posting on forums saying, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And and even after all of that, you've still got the problem of if people want to do what they want to do, they've got to learn how to model in 3D. And that's the huge portion of it. That's an entirely separate. Like, you may as like once you get into that, you can if you don't already know it by the time you start getting into it, you may as well just throw away modelling entirely and just become a 3D modeler.
And that's completely what stops me from getting a 3D printer, that hurdle.
Yeah, and everyone thinks, someone out there will model it for me. Yeah, who? Yeah? Yeah, you're going to pay them to do it? Yeah. Oh, no, you're too much of a tight ass to do that. You got into this whole 3D printing thing because you thought you could save money, but that's not how it works.
And also, if it's a massive chore, I mean, it's a hobby, it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
No one wants to go to work at their hobby.
And that's where the convenience of styrene models come into it.
Well, if we're going to say styrene models continue, how much better can models get? How good will they be in 2035?
Well, the benchmark's already been set by Wingnut Wings and Bandai and some of the Tamiya kits. So
it's only going to get better.
But having said that, I mean...
But how much better can it get?
Well...
Yeah, that's the thing.
The guys are raving about the Phantom model that's coming out from...
yes, I've seen it,
They reckon it's just absolutely gorgeous. And if it gets that level stage there, I'm quite happy. That's fine. I mean, I don't want to waste my time having to fiddle around and deal with huge gaps or misfit issues in model kits.
Yeah.
And look, I'll if there's an issue with a particular kit that comes up once in a blue moon from, let's say Bandai, for example, do the benchmark, or even let's go back to the old Wingnut Wings kits.
Yep.
I'll forgive them for one mistake.
Yeah. But
if there's constantly seeing all the kits that came out, you'd be going, oh, hang on a minute, Sunshine.
Yeah.
So I forgot where I was leading with that.
I was wondering where you're going.
So did I. So what I'm getting to, if all model kits sort of come to that level, and I don't see why they shouldn't be there now, because we've got companies who can produce it. So I can't see any changes or benefits coming into the future, with the exception of companies that are now making mediocre kits, all coming up to the same level as what we see with Bandai and Tamiya and even Take-On and Rifle models and Copper State models. I mean, those guys are hitting the mark with the kits they're producing now.
Yeah, for sure.
But kits will get a lot more expensive.
Yeah, that's what I reckon.
Yeah, it'll CPI rises.
Oh, I think even more than that.
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Well, I've actually been watching Seth, who you had on the program, sent me a picture of a thing that he's bought, Star Wars thing, and the only way I could look at it was to join up with the Star Wars Collectors Forum, and I've just been amazed at how much money they will spend on things. Astounding amounts.
Rabid collectors.
Yeah, hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
And these are for new things. These are not like weird stuff, like old stuff that's very rare. These are new things that are coming out. And I think the modelling manufacturers are now very much pushing to see how much we will pay.
Yeah.
And for instance, the Tamiya Phantom that's come out, beautiful kit and all that. Can you imagine paying $150 for a 48 scale kit? Like, say, 5 years ago?
You'd be pushing, wouldn't you?
Well, I don't know how much it is now. How much is the new kit?
I've seen like $150, $170.
Wow. What, US or Australian?
Australian.
Wow.
I mean, it's a huge price.
Yeah.
And I think they've now thought, well, these are adults and they've got jobs and we'll just see how much we can get.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking in the future. Like,
plus you got to
build your stash now because it's going to be bloody expensive.
Yeah. Well, especially with like carbon taxes and so forth, all getting pushed around the world at the moment. That's going to really...
That will affect us that much because the real cost is in designing the kit.
Well, you mentioned something very interesting. That's another facet of modelling in the future. What happens when they've already gotten rid of the plastic spoons and the plastic straws. What are they going to do with the
Dude,
Yeah,
it's not like with a model though. You build it and chuck it away. You build it and store it.
Julian does.
Well, then you're
A weird
you're
cat.
ecologically what's the word for it?
Vandal.
Well, yeah.
I would say too, kits are not one-use products.
No.
In fact, they're mostly no-use products. Most of them, because we don't build them. They're no-use products.
Yeah, but a one-use item is generally like a plastic spoon. You use it and chuck it away.
Yeah.
Whereas a model kit's designed,
You'll have it till you die. Let's face it.
or the kit dies.
No, I think you'll probably die before the kit. The kit will outlast you.
It depends when the grandkids get hold of it. That's what I'm saying. The kit dies.
Not if it's not built, which is where most of them are.
True.
But then also, one thing to bear in mind is that 15 years into the future is not really that much when you think about it. You think about where we were 15 years ago, modelling wise, and those kits are still around and still, like, people think, like, if you go back 15 years, that was like the golden era of Hasegawa kits, right? And people still regard those as good kits.
Well, hang on. 15 years ago, I don't think we had Wingnut Wings.
No.
No, well, it wasn't
So
around
Wingnut
yet.
Wings has been and gone in the space of 15 years.
Yep.
Kitty Hawk has been and gone in the space of 15 years.
Probably even less.
Yeah. So...
I think Hasegawa will be gone in 15 years.
No. Their market in Japan is still pretty strong with all their other stuff.
What I should say is that they are now gone as a producer of things like aircraft kits.
Yeah.
They don't make them anymore. They still produce the ones they've already made, but they're pretty much gone.
There's now just like filing cabinets and chairs and
Girls with cardigan.
waifus and all that sort of weird stuff.
Yeah. But, that's the market. They can make money at it.
It shocks me that you've heard of that word.
I can be
Waifu.
cultured if you want. Spell culture with a K.
Yeah.
Can I just go back to how good kits are getting?
Absolutely.
How good
Yeah.
they will get? I would posit that armour kits are now pretty much as good as they're going to get. I honestly can't see how much better. You look at a mini art kit, full interior,
Yep.
great surface detail,
Yep.
accurate. Maybe you could get the tracks maybe a little bit better. But otherwise, I can't see any real improvement.
The only improvement I could see is that it'll get simpler because we've gone... Some of those kits have gone quite complex. Mini art are very complex. Not to build, but all the additional stuff on them.
Yeah,
That could have been circumvented by actually having it moulded on.
yeah.
That's my experience with them anyway.
Well, I think Tamiya's already done that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've sort of decided that they're not going to match Eduard for the whole surface detail kind of thing. They're not going to go in for all the little rivets and things that Eduard do. They always maintain just panel lines, and selected rivets and fasteners, but they don't go for the whole hog like Eduard do.
I reckon there's another level that the aircraft modelers or manufacturers could go to, and that's a truly accurate surface representation.
Oh, like the oil canning and...
and
Lapped
also
panels.
lapped panels.
lap panels.
Rivets, like
domed and flush.
domed rivets.
Yeah.
I think it would require a little bit of a rethink on how kits are engineered. You'd have to avoid any seams that need to be filled. But which, I think they can do with the CAD now. The people who are good at it can get Tamiya can get perfectly fitting kits.
Yeah.
But we would, for instance, the spine, they'd be able to put like a separate piece that goes along the panel lines that fits in from the top.
Yeah,
I
like
think
do
they've
with the
already
Spitfire.
done.
Yeah, the Spitfire.
Yeah,
That's
so-
why the Spitfire just fell together. It's amazing.
But we can see oil canning that could come in.
And that also in the ship world as well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, oil canning is, something that the ship modelers would really love to see.
Yeah.
It's something I would.
The point is when you get to the point when you get a kit that really, within the possibilities, real possibilities can't be improved, what happens then? Do the kit manufacturers just say, okay, we don't make any more new kits? We just turn out the old ones? Maybe that means we see more unusual subjects, but then again, an unusual subject, maybe no one will buy it, no matter how good the kit is.
But look at Copper State Models with their unusual subjects with their armoured cars that they're pushing out. I mean, the most obscure armoured cars from World War One, and dude, they must be selling because people are buying them, and they're pushing out more.
Our local hobby shop, they've only got a handful of Lanchester armoured cars left from Copper State. Everything else sold out. They just bang. I was talking to the guys during the week. They're just selling like hotcakes.
Well, there's nothing to say that an obscure subject can't be popular. It just has to appeal to the right number of people.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm not sure if you can mirror the success of the armoured cars in aircraft. Like, you could bring out some miscellaneous, like, weird, barely heard of British obscure plane, and no one's going to buy that.
Yeah, when you found that to their cost, when they were bringing out that Gotha UWD, that, you know, that was a plane that even the World War I guys didn't want. So, you know,
I reckon we're also going to see bigger kits.
Well, we are starting to see bigger kits.
But even bigger than that.
Like scale-wise, going up to scale. Yeah.
How do you mean?
Well,
I reckon the way things are going, some of the kits that are coming out, like for example, the 24 scale Hellcat, that's a massive kit. Ship kits are getting larger scale now. Like
the 200 scale, that's been around for a while now.
I reckon in 15 years' time, you could even find you won't just be able to buy a Flower class in 72. You'll be able to buy like Fletchers in 72 and smaller destroyers and in larger scales. Because as Robert said earlier, the manufacturers now, we're all getting older. 99% of us have jobs, have income, doing all right. We can afford to spend these things. We've got our own places. We can afford to. We've got spaces to put these things.
Except you.
Except me, of course, because I'm stupid.
Let me just, as a counterpoint to that. So one thing that's, you know, a lot of Western nations are going through is housing bubble.
Yep.
And like real estate is becoming increasingly expensive, and people are having to buy smaller and smaller houses in order to be able to afford them. How much longer do you think it'll be before either the bubbles burst or everyone has to be forced to buy smaller models?
And that's where the Japanese success in 1/700 scale came from, because the Japanese traditionally had small sort of living spaces, and still do. And that's why the 1/700 waterlines were such a popular line.
Is that scale dead now, though?
No,
still going strong.
Yeah, there's definitely a very dedicated group that really loves building that scale.
Right.
And it's just you can get more different ships in that scale than you can in 1/350.
Oh, yeah. It's like, was it about 5-1, if not more?
Yeah.
To be honest, I've thought about continuing to build in that scale.
Yeah?
Yeah, because
I just want it just a bit too small.
I mean, like I like the smaller ships in 1/350, but when it gets to like cool big things, you know, like carriers and whatnot, I kind of want to build it in 700 scale just because. You know,
where else are you going to put it?
Yeah,
and still fairly large kit in 1/700 scale an aircraft carrier. It's you know, you're not going to.
It's about 400 mil.
Oh, but I will tell you one thing in 14 years' time that won't be around, and that's a 1/350 scale Queen Elizabeth class.
Aircraft carrier, no! You're so cruel. Why are you so cruel to me, Ian?
Because it's fun.
What we haven't considered or spoken about is the actual makeup of the people who are building themselves. Yeah. I mean, because you look at all the kids now, and this has been going on for a while now, but all the kids who play or World of Warships, World of Tanks, and you know, they've been pushed into modelling because of that sort of stuff. All the guys are still doing all the fantasy stuff. I mean, what's it called? Warhammer 40,000, all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
You know, as a 14-year-old now, 14 years' time, they're going to be 28.
Yeah.
And
ready to start modelling.
And not only that, but all the guys who are doing Gundam and everything, I foresee all that sort of genre becoming more prevalent at shows, modelling shows, and becoming larger than what it currently is.
Yeah, because the kids' interest is different to ours.
And it behooves those of us who are actually running model shows to start opening that sector up a lot more.
Because if we close it down, we run the risk of ruining the hobby.
Oh, not so much ruining the hobby, but excluding a group of people who have got every right to be there as well as anything else.
And are happy to contribute.
Absolutely.
So another facet that I was just thinking of is a lot of our interest in modelling and modelling subjects is the subjects themselves.
And the history.
Right? And I've noticed that, you know, there aren't as many military vehicles around these days.
Oh, variations of...
Like variations of things, you know? And so are you going to have like a whole generation in the future that are not that interested in the hobby because there's only the F-35 and maybe one or two other Allied aircraft, and then you've got like a Chinese one and a Russian one, and that's it. And then you look at cars, and young people aren't interested in cars anymore. You know, it's kind of like I'm a rich person. I'm going to go buy a LaFerrari, a Porsche 918, and whatever the two other hypercars are. But other than that, it's all slightly going away. Young people aren't that interested in cars.
What, in building cars or driving them?
Driving them.
Really?
Yeah. Because remember, like for former generations,
yep.
when you an 18-year-old or whatever, your big ticket to independence was getting you a car.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right? But these days, it's your
mobile
phone.
They just call an Uber.
Right? Getting your phone is your big ticket to independence. And they're not, like, you look at a lot of young people today, they're like 23, 25 before they even get their license.
I guess it depends which part of the world you're living in, whether it's a rural part or a highly sort of, mega city like.
Yes, that's actually a really important point.
Yeah.
If you look at a lot of the growth in the modelling industry, a lot of it's in Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
The young modelers who still build military models, they're all in Eastern Europe. Hungary, Czech Republic, Ukraine.
That's where all the new companies come from too.
That's right. These companies are springing up to meet demand in their local markets as well, you know, and the interest is there.
But
right?
is it the chicken before the egg? Are they, because they're producing there, the interest is following them from that particular area, or is it because?
Who knows? But in any case, in any case, you're getting a lot more.
Well, actually, Dave, they'd have to have an interest first before they even consider building kits.
Yeah, but it's the old thing, build it and they shall come.
True.
Yeah. But you need to have that initial spark.
Yeah.
And that initial spark would come from modelers. Because some of the biggest shows were held in Eastern Europe, weren't they?
Still are.
Like E-Day.
The Hungary one, there's one in Hungary, it's huge.
Yep.
Still.
Didn't they stop Euro Militaire? I heard.
Yeah, that's finished now. That's finished,
which is a real shame because that was meant to be a great show.
I think someone wrote into you and said that something better has come along.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There was too, yeah.
What that was now.
Also with Eastern Europe, if you recall, a lot of the conflicts in that area of the world in the past happened around the time where today's young modelers were kids.
Yeah, like the Balkan crisis and so forth, yeah.
So the local fighting didn't put them off, made them interested.
Well, remember, they grew up...
Well, my dad used to say that. My dad was, I think, 10 or 12 when the Germans invaded Holland.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, it must have been really horrible for you. He says, mate, I was 12 years old. It was the best time of my life. He said, didn't have to go to school. There was military aeroplanes everywhere and tanks and soldiers and guns. He said, for a kid, it was great.
Yeah.
Until they started bombing you.
Yeah, it takes the shine off.
But initially, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, you think about, like, those kids, you know, that are now, like, in their 20s and 30s in Eastern Europe that are buying and building all these models and, you know, amazing shows. Like, you see most in model show, there's amazing models, right? Those guys would have grown up surrounded by all these tanks and planes and things, you know, being put into playgrounds and things.
Uncle Night Shift.
Yeah, I mean,
he'd be in that book.
Yeah. So how does that translate to 2035?
Well, we need a big conflict to get us back into modelling.
Yeah, wait. I think we might get one soon.
Yeah, I'd say so. There's one on the horizon.
Want to make a Chinese tank?
No.
I mean, that's kind of the point I was making. But it's interesting that there's like waves of modelling that follow eras of conflict, and it's a bit
macabre, but it's the way
it's a bit dark to think about.
But it's the way the human mind works. People go to see car racing not to watch the cars. Most of them go to see a crash.
Yes, there's that aspect as well. But I mean, like, we remember my original point was running off of cars. Like, people are influenced by their childhood. In modelling. Heavily influenced by their childhood.
Well, then, how does it...
They're not going to be building models of mobile phones from back in the day, are they?
See,
here we go. Here's my new Hasegawa Nokia 2010.
It'll happen. It'll happen in Japan.
And it's that accurate it even has Snake on it.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I think the subjects in 2035 will be quite different. Because World War II is probably going to die out with us.
I disagree, because look at World War I kicking off now in a big way.
Or maybe the 100th anniversary went in 2045, the 100th anniversary in 2040.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gee, that's amazing to think about, because I'll still be around for the 100th anniversary of World War I. 100th anniversary of World War II.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be here.
Probably
for
Korea.
that.
Yeah, I'll be around for that.
How long are you going to live?
Oh, until I'm reasonably old enough.
Until he's a burden on society, and they bring out they bring out the scoops. Soylent Dave.
No, they'll just put his head in a jar, you know, and they'll
talking,
in Futurama.
Yeah. The Great Hall of Heads.
Yeah, he'll be holding the podcast for all the other heads that are still lying around, you know.
You know, one thing just occurred to me then. I reckon the last 15 years may have been one of the most important times in modelling, because we saw CAD come through, computer-aided design.
Yep.
And I think that's transformed modelling. Like, it's made smaller manufacturers be able to get in.
Mm.
I mean, you see the likes of Wingsy and all the guys in the Ukraine, Dora. I mean, they're turning out super quality at, you know, must be fairly reasonable cost, because they're just churning out kits.
Yeah.
And that's made all that possible. And the quality of kits, you know, the stuff Tummy is doing is great, and they've always been good. But that's new, you know, next level stuff now because of computer-aided design. So, seeing that we won't get, as far as I know, a big step change like that in the next 15 years. We might, because it might come from out of the blue and we don't know about it. But maybe there won't be any sort of massive change like that in the next 15 years. I wonder if it's going to be at the edges. The changes are more at the edges rather than being something as transformative as
rather than the core.
Yeah. So
as it evolves.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the 3D printing side of it will have an impact on the production of model kits, from the point of view you'll actually be able to cheaply 3D print the moulds now.
They're already doing that.
They are already doing that?
They're already doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, I think even Airfix do that. They'll show you the model, and that's a 3D printed, put together 3D printed parts. So
the actual mould is 3D printed?
No, they'll actually, to test out how the CAD design has gone, they'll basically print out the parts and see how it goes together.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the actual mould itself can be 3D printed itself.
I don't think it needs to be. Well, it's because
it reduces costs, and that's what they'll be aiming at.
Already, I mean, I know Fine Moulds in Japan have got their own special machine, and they just said it overnight, and they cut their own moulds in their little tiny place, and it's super fast.
Yep.
So, in fact, it might even be faster than a 3D printer. I don't know, but I know that the guys who are doing the shorter run stuff, I believe they're resin moulds that are somehow galvanised or something to make them last longer. So there's a point for everyone. The short run kits, they're not going to last forever, so buy them now.
You're pushing that barrel a lot today. Buy more kits.
No, it's true though, because those moulds aren't going to last. And once the moulds are gone, is the company going to go through all that process and make a new mould, or are they just going to move on?
Yeah. Oh, look, there's ways to fix moulds up. Having been in the industry once upon a time,
but
you can fix it up.
The short run kits come from aluminium moulds.
Yeah, they're easy to fix up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just cut a new one. They might do 10,000, say, okay, we'll cut a new one. It's worthwhile.
I used to, and it's not the same. Yeah. I used to be in the blow moulding industry, which started producing bottles. And we used to do milk bottles, and we'd do millions upon millions of them. And they were aluminium shell. The interior of it, the outer construction of the mould was metal, but the interior, with the actual shaping of the bottle, was aluminium.
All right.
So, yeah.
I did think of another thing too. I think we might see, we're already seeing it now, but even more so in the future, more input from modellers in the design of kits.
Yes, and that's where social media has come into it, where you'll see balloons being put up by a manufacturer, and also designs being put up showing this is what they're doing. That's an opportunity. Take out the wankers who turn around and say, "Oh, it's a lot of crap. It never looked like that."
Yep.
But you get some real nuggets of people saying, "Yeah, great, but this particular part wasn't shaped like that, and here's a picture of what it really should be look like."
Yep.
And it gives the manufacturers a chance to change any issues before they go to full production.
Plus also to find out whether or not they're going to be producing something that's not going to sell.
Yeah, I wouldn't go to social media to find out if I was going to produce something that wouldn't sell. I don't think that'd be the market, the research I'd be using. But anyway,
proper market research.
Yeah,
I know Wingsy seem to have a deliberate policy of doing their CAD model and saying, "Okay, people, what do you think?" And they get the feedback, Big manufacturers don't want to hear from you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
People try and help them. They're like, we don't care.
Yeah.
But the small guys, it seems to be their model. It works well because it's expensive to do an accurate kit.
Yes.
And if you can outsource it to people who do it for free,
yeah.
So it seems to make sense and works really well. And we get great kits.
Everyone's got an opinion.
Well,
they learn who to listen to.
Yeah.
The thing is, you have to separate customer feedback on a product you're making versus product choice, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously one thing that often gets talked about is, we wanted this and we wanted that. We want a obscure thing.
Yeah, and then the company goes ahead and does what they say and probably sells about 30 units worldwide because it was that one person who was so vocal that just overshadowed everyone else and convinced the company, we'll go for this then. And then they produce it and this guy, I'll buy 2 and that's it.
Yeah, Robert, didn't you mention something about some guy who designed some kit up in CAD and then...
Yes.
Yeah, on Hyperscale, there was a thread about people saying what kits they want, wish listing. And I think it was from Model Monkey. He does 3D designs.
Yeah, I've heard of Model Monkey, yep.
And he was talking about how he was doing research on what people wanted. He did ship kits and put feelers out and was checking forums and what people wanted was a Portland in 350 scale, the US Cruiser, and everyone, we really want this Portland. So he went ahead and he spent 2 months of full time doing the research and making moulds and stuff, and he put out thinking, this is going to go gangbusters. He sold a total of 30 copies of it, and he worked it out. Only made him a few dollars per.
Has he
per
got any
unit.
left?
I don't know. You have to get in touch with him.
I'll have to because wouldn't mind it.
But, so generally, people I think need to just go on their own gut and
I had no idea it existed.
What's going to sell.
Yeah.
So you can't. And also, the thing that won all the came top in all the list of what kits people want was the Catalina. So Revell went straight ahead and made one, and they said they rued the day they ever did it because it was such a poor seller.
Which is surprising because it's a good kit. I've got one.
Yeah, and important aircraft everywhere.
Yeah.
People like fighters.
Yeah, people like single engine aircraft.
Yeah,
and that's why you see companies continually pumping out Tigers, Spitfires, Messerschmitts,
Mustangs,
things that are cool and space efficient.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, mind you, 20 years ago you couldn't. You'd be pushing to get yourself a 48 scale Focke-Wulf 190. Now it seems like every company's doing it.
Yeah.
I think it was TriMaster was the first ones to bring out the Focke-Wulf 190s, and that was in the 90s. Before then, I think Monogram had one.
Yeah, but it wasn't great.
It was 70s, 60s, 70s moulding, so it had its flaws. And now Hasegawa does them, or did them.
Yeah.
You get them in all scales.
Of course, Edward,
yes.
fantastic kit. Should buy that. It's a great kit.
I've got a Focke-Wulf from Edward. I've got an A6.
All right, I think we should wrap this up because Kentucky Day is waiting to cut his lawn and he can't until we push this podcast out. So
poor bugger. You better get them lawns done, mate.
Yeah.
That's a right on.
Crack that whip.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Julian, sign off.
Yeah, see ya.
It's a great sign off.
Ian.
Photo etch is your friend.
No, it isn't. I've had recent experience. It is not my friend. It's my bloody enemy.
You're doing it wrong then.
No, it's the wrong size.
Well,
how can it be the wrong size?
It's the wrong size. Can I mention a brand?
Yeah, go.
Yeah.
Voyager.
I've
say
built
no
some
more. Stuff from Voyager.
Say no more.
I'm just putting a thing together and the part's massively oversized.
Yeah, I've heard that about Voyager can be scaled out.
Now, the guy who does Sprue Cutter Pie, the blog, I can't think of his name now. Oh, it's going to haunt me. Oh, speaking of getting names wrong, remember I was talking about the Sprue Cutters Union, and I couldn't remember one of the guys' name. It was Tracy.
Tracy.
Yeah. So, g'day, Tracy. Sorry for calling you a pizza maker, but pizzas happen to be my second favourite food group. Anyway.
That's a compliment then.
It is a compliment.
That is a compliment.
So, hang on. What did I say about the other one? Sprue Pie.
Sprue Pie.
Yeah. He made an interesting comment. He was on one of the other podcasts. I think it was the Kentucky boys from Kentucky on their podcast. Anyway, he was saying podcasts play an interesting part in modelling world now because modelling magazines aren't willing to be critical of kits and stuff because
then they don't get freebies.
Yeah, they don't get freebies, but more than that, it affects their advertising stuff. Yeah. So they're very advertising. So they're very vanilla and bland in what they say about it. And you go to the other extreme where you've got social media
blogs,
and you get all your weirdos and loonies out there who are, howling from the treetops and saying this is wrong and this is crap, rah, rah, rah. And he says that in his opinion, podcasting is sort of playing a very important model role in sort of middle of the road type stuff where, we're not bound to sort of by any stretch of imagination to say, well,
we're not bound to any manufacturers.
No. And by the same token, well, last time I checked, we're not also the raving loonies either, frothing at the mouth. Yeah. So,
well, we don't think so anyway.
But I thought it was a really interesting analysis. That that is really right, and it was very insightful. God, I wish I could remember his name now. It's going to kill me. Anyway, thanks, and it's got a great little blog too. So go and visit that.
That's all right. You'll get an email correcting you anyway.
Yeah. I'll get an abusive email from him. So
can I just make one final prediction about what modelling is going to be like in 2035?
Okay.
This is 100% guaranteed to be
true. Wait.
100% guaranteed.
Kentucky Dave, you get to the lawns in a minute. So
right. Won't take long. One sentence. By 2035, every modeller will have their own podcast.
Well, that's going to make it.
Or at least been on a podcast.
Yes. Too true.
Oh, jeez. All right, guys, thanks very much for listening. That's all we've got for this fortnight. We'll be back next fortnight to hopefully talk about painting black.
Paint it black.
In the meantime, adios, keep on building. See you later.